Hello. What is up, Facebook family? Okay, so I've got a really awesome message for you guys today. Been tuning into the collective. I've been tuning in, just observing and listening to the people in my community and the struggles that have been coming up for them. And, and of course, for those of you who are new to me in my world, my name is Stephanie Pierre. Hello, nice to meet you. I am about to start Unicorn Legacy, which is my high-level group coaching container in the Stardisco brand, Astro Magic and Fitness for Sexy Witches. And I'm super, super stoked. We start tomorrow. It's 40 fantastical days and nights of totally revolutionizing your business, but it's also like in a holistic way. I mean, and that is what separates, and I'm going to be getting into more of this in just a moment, but that is what separates Stardisco, the Stardisco brand, from a lot of the other, things that you might see in the internet or in other spaces. Is this is holistic. This isn't just about having a really awesome business, making a shit ton of money. This is also about having the family, having the beautiful family life, having the man of your dreams, having the body of your dreams, having your, the pleasure and the freedom that you want to have in your life. You're doing it, you're experiencing this abundance and wealth in every single area of your life. And so, and it's also about like tuning into the cosmos, tuning into the natural world, the natural order and rhythm of what's happening now. And the more that you actually do that, meaning you're adapting to the times, you're adapting to what's happening in the world right now, as well as, because as above, so within, as above, so below, as within, so without, all of these things, are the things that are happening in the world are a reflection of what's happening in the cosmos. And so, we're living in unprecedented times. You know that. So a lot of the things that are happening right now are about the massive change that is happening, and how, it's the breaking down of the old structures, the breaking down of the old ways of doing life, the old ways of doing business, all of the old paradigms. And the thing is that we require structure in life. If you don't have a structure, if you don't have boundaries, if you don't have these solid containers, in life, our body being one of them, a business being another, a home, is another example of that, then what happens is we have no immunity. We have, our energy gets dissipated. We're not able to hold in our resource, our wealth, and what we value. So as all of these structures are coming down, there's this gap where it's like, okay, well, we don't want to do it like this. Like, I don't want to do business like this anymore. I don't want to, have a governing body like this anymore. I don't want to be in a relationship with my man like this anymore. But you don't have like another way. You haven't yet created your own laws and rules. You haven't created your own structures that are unique to you. So in this gap, there's, where a lot of, this is why a lot of people are getting sick. This is why a lot of people are in a place in their business where they're not feeling fulfilled, where they're in scarcity, where they're in lack. When you get on, please say hello so that I can say hello back to you. That's, I love, like, for me, for those of you who don't know, I'm telling you that I love to connect, but it's like my human design. I am a manifesting generator, so I am here to respond. I'm also a Libra, so I am a chatty, I love talking, I love connecting, I love making friends. So, and I mean, I have a lot of shit to say, don't get me wrong. I can talk and talk and talk, but I enjoy the engagement. Okay, so when you are in my space, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Research has found that the best of the best of the best people in their field engage with information that they're receiving, because what is happening in the online space is that it's really, really easy to just receive the information and have it be like a headspace thing, right? But when you engage, when you ask questions, when you respond, when you participate, you are actually creating an experience. And when you create an experience, that's something that you can take with you. So another reason why people aren't getting the results that they want in their life is because they're just wanting to like press the easy button. They're wanting to get the information fast and then quickly get what they want. And hello, what is going on? Is that Gemini Brett is in the house? How are you, brother? Mercury retrograde season is upon us. How are you? Where are you at in the world nowadays? Yeah, so coming back to this concept, right, of the flooding of information and people just wanting to press the easy button, right? It's like they want to get the information and run. They want to get the information so that they can solve their problem. They want to, they want to do the least amount of work for the most bang for their buck. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I totally get that. That's human nature, right? But we're asking the wrong questions. And this is actually, if we are going to transition in health, if we're going to adapt, if we're going to build something that lasts for the next 246 years of this socio-economic cycle of revolution, sick but solid. Yeah. I just got all the chill bumps on that. If we're going to build something in this gap where all of the systems are crumbling, so just think about this for a moment. The systems that have been, that we're finding oppressive now, that we're maybe seeing there's corruption now, the reason why they've been in power, the reason why they've lasted for so long was because they were built upon the long game. They were built upon not looking for the easy button, not looking for the quick fix solution. And so I want to speak to this because here's the thing, right? Is if you're in programmed fear and if you're in scarcity, if you're in lack, then human nature, the lower parts of us, of course, it's going to make sense to the part of you that is in lack, the part of you that's looking, to survive. It just wants to get something to survive. So you're not acting, you're not choosing, you're not making decisions based upon what's actually the most beneficial for you and in integrity with who you came here to be for the long term. So here's the thing. And this is like an amazing opportunity for us right now. All crises are an opportunity in disguise. You know that, right? We all know that. On some level, we know that. But it is up to us, and we get to be the ones to build it. So as we're seeing this, as we're, looking through things in this unique lens, recognizing, oh my gosh, there's a gap. Okay, all of these systems are crumbling, and while these systems are crumbling, there are no structures. What are the new structures? We get to build the new structures. Because if we don't do it, the other people that have been building structures, it's kind of like, how do you say this? Do you want to give over your power and authority? Like, all right, when you go to a restaurant and you sit down and, do you want to sit at a restaurant and have somebody else that doesn't really care about you and doesn't care about your preferences and doesn't care about your dreams and hopes, and just do your best to get the metaphor here, okay? Do you want to go to a restaurant and have somebody like that choose for you what you're going to eat? Or do you want to go sit at the restaurant and be like, well, I've got this thing that I want to do. I've got this business that I want to build. I've got a 5K to run. I want to have a really great time. I really love spaghetti, but I really like chocolate cake, but whatever it is, whatever you've got personally going on, what you really desire, would you like to be the one ordering the food, or are you going to give over your sovereignty, give over your authority to have somebody else start building the new? Because that is what is happening. And so we're seeing this, like, hopefully you're seeing this. And if you're not seeing this, then, I invite you to start looking at this in a different way. Start looking at, where am I trying to press the easy button, because I'm in scarcity and lack. And I'm not actually going for my first and highest choice, or where am I settling for just enough because it's just, because I really don't want to do the work, this shows up in so many ways. It shows up in so many ways, like, it shows up in the ways where at the beginning of the new year, and we're all focused on health and we're focused on new beginnings, right? And so if you're feeling tired and depleted, right, like what a lot of people will do is they'll start buying vitamins, right? It's like, let me go buy all the vitamins. Let me get a vitamin D shot. Let me try to, boost myself by giving myself the greens, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. It's great to give yourself the nutrition that you require. However, what's even more powerful and what's going to allow you to actually utilize and metabolize and integrate what it is you are receiving is to go back and look at, well, how did I get tired in the first place? Why is my immune system low in the first place? Why am I burned out from the business that I've been doing in the first place? Why am I, fighting with my husband? Why am I not getting along with my husband, where there's all of this drama going on that's making me stressed out, or I'm experiencing stress, so that now, it's going back and looking at what you're avoiding. That's always like a really challenging one. It's a fun one. It's like, and it's like, what have I been avoiding? What is something that, maybe came into my field? What's something that came into the roots? Hell yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right? The patterns, right? So, this is all like the very Saturnian, Capricorn, and yes, Aquarius stuff, right? Like, I'm all right. There's so much that's coming through. So how can I choose to share this? So what is best of service right now in this moment? As it pertains to your business, I want you to ask, and just give me a second. In the meantime, is this landing? I want, let's stop, because that was a lot. And I want to hear, okay, please, I'm getting like all of what are your thoughts? How is this landing? What is shifting for you? Is this like an aha? Are you recognizing like the tendency to want to do, the shortcut thing, or you're recognizing what you've been doing that's not working? Are you seeing this in your community? All right, let me get this. Cool. All right, I got that up. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Because and here's the thing, right, is like, it's human nature for us to want to avoid the hard. And of course, you can go to the other end of the spectrum. I know all about it, about, thinking that you're not going to get results if it's not hard. And that's not what I'm saying. Things don't have to be hard in order to get results, right? It's looking at, are you making this harder than it actually needs to be? Where are you making this harder than it actually needs to be because you're avoiding doing something that initially feels scary, hard, uncertain? Like, that's another big thing too, is like when we're not willing to play in uncertainty, we we want to close, right? It's like our brain is like, oh no, 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 no. I'm not going to, play with uncertainty. I'm not going to, do something out of my comfort zone because, because that doesn't feel good. It brings up fear, essentially, right? And so, fear isn't indicating that if something is wrong, it's indicating something that you haven't done before. And that's what we need right now. That's really what we need right now. That's what this time is all about. I mean, there's a couple different ways of looking at this. We can look at what has happened like a long, long time ago, meaning really drawing back, on the systems and the cosmologies like Stoicism and, ancient philosophies and the I Ching and, Atlantean, technologies, ancient technologies, right? Part of the Aquarian age is absolutely about that. It's about going back and like what is going to last the test of time, right? But making it relevant to what is happening now, like what happened back then, which is why those systems fell. Why did the Atlanteans fall? Why did Rome fall? And look at what were they doing? What was going on, during those times, and bring through what worked, right? And it's like, it's the same energy of the new year, right? But we are in this time right now. This is like this whole 264-year cycle of socioeconomic change is about that, is really looking back at what didn't work, what did work, and what can we bring forth that's new. And in order to do that, that means you have to be willing to play in the unknown. You have to be willing to play in uncertainty, because here's the thing. If you're not willing to play in uncertainty because, it means, you might die, it means it might not work, you might fail, it might mean heartbreak. It might mean something that just hurts way too fucking much. When you shut down that, you also shut down all of the other possibilities of, but what if it does work? What if it's even better than last time? What if this fucking blows my mind? What if, like, this is an oh my god, I just fell off my unicorn deal? So that's the thing, right? Is it's staying open. And it's I know, staying open, keeping the heart open when you've been hurt, when you've been betrayed, when you've lost, when you failed, right? And so it's staying present, right? Not future tripping, being scared of the future, like trying to prevent something bad from happening, so we don't take the risky move because we want security in the now, because we're so desperate for security in the now. We want the certainty in the now, and there's no fucking thing as certainty, by the way. Like, there really is there? I don't think so. I don't think nature is about certainty. And I think nature is one of the best teachers that we have. If anything, nature is teaching us to change, that life is about change and to embrace the change. So I wanted to give you guys some questions, and I wanted to keep this brief, so I will. um, so let me just for a second, though, before I give you guys these questions that I have, and they're really good. I think that if you really take the time, if you have a notebook, definitely go and get one, and spend some time reflecting on this today, you know, because it's so easy to want to create plans for the new year. And which is great energy, right? It's great energy to get off on, and let's make plans, let's hit the ground running. And, you know, when you do that without really, and you start taking action, right? And then you start going forward in crazy momentum, and then you're just like, oh man, like I don't like this. I don't like where I am, right? And at the other end of the spectrum, like just being in planning mode and just being in planning mode and then never actually taking action upon it because you've never really found what really motivates you. Because here's the thing, if you get really honest about what it is that you want, motivation is not an issue. When you have the courage to, and these are the things that we're going to be going very deep into inside Unicorn Legacy. So if this is resonating with you, reach out to me about this, as well as the Stardisco Immersion for 2022 so it's working with me for the whole year, is when you really find your why and what really motivates you. There isn't this feeling of like, oh, it's hard, I don't want to do it, right? There isn't this feeling of, you know, of not wanting to take the action, of having the plan and then not actually like going through the motions to make it happen, because you have that energy behind it, you have the emotion behind it, you have your heart. All of these things are lined up together. So this is the sweet spot that you want to get. And so these questions are going to help you to get that. So let me just share this for a minute into my group. Is this where you guys are at? Let me know. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. So, all right, let's pull them up. Pull it up, pull it up. All right. So, what if you stopped asking, how can I do the least amount of work for the most amount of money? Or how can I make this easier? Something wrong with asking, how can I make this easier? Like, you can choose to make it easy, but just notice where you're avoiding doing some groundwork, right? You're avoiding going in. You're wanting to just progress instead of going in, okay? How can I do the least amount of work for the most amount of money? And instead ask, what is the greatest gift that I can bring to the table? What is truly the best of me? Hey, precious. What is the best of me? And I want you to take this a step further. So, what does me in my body, in my business, and in my family showing up in peak performance, what does that actually look and feel like? So when I choose to expand, when I choose to grow from a place of thriving, not from a place from survival, you know, where I'm like pushing and I'm in like this agitation because I'm in lack. I'm agitated because I'm disappointed. I'm agitated because I'm dissatisfied, you know, and so I'm like pushing for more. It's like, no, like recognizing when you are in that position, like, okay, realign, The truth is, it's already done. Everything that I want is, as soon as I realize what that is, it's already done. In some version of the infinite now, it already exists. So I don't have to force it. I don't have to push it. You know, we want to get into that middle where it's like you're not, in this overdrive of like that and pushing and forcing because, you know, you don't believe that it's possible. You really don't believe that it's possible. So it's like I have to force this and control it to make it happen. But at the same time, you're not also avoiding doing the work. You're recognizing, like where am I out of alignment? And actually, like, in my body, like, what would me, like, thriving, being a business person, what does that look like? And this is another reason why I'm keeping this for today. I'm keeping this live stream short and simple because, I've been recognizing, right, where it can be very easy for me to get online, right, to be sitting all day long. And for me personally, like, I don't like that. That's why you'll see me do live streams outside and walking and, and talking and all of these things. And so, just something as simple as that, right? Like the work that you're doing for your business, are you sitting all day long in front of a computer? Are you sitting, for a lot of your work, or are you moving? Are you being dynamic? Are you taking breaks? Like, so let's say you do a lot of, some of my work is on the computer, right? And so I break up my day. It's part of my routine is to break up my day and have these walks and to have these workouts and knowing what my body requires. So coming back to what does me in my body, in my business, and in my family, when I show up in my peak performance, what does that look like? How many days a week am I working? Hopefully your work doesn't feel like work. My work doesn't feel like work, but you know what I mean? Meaning where, you're giving and you're providing a service, you're giving of yourself to somebody else as opposed to being in a receivership position or just totally being on vacation, traveling, taking care of your body and health, you know what I'm saying. So like, what does that actually look like? How many hours a day? What does your, showing up in how you want to show up as, the partner that you want to be, as the husband or the boyfriend or the whoever, whatever you want to, call it, as the wife, as the wifey, as the girlfriend, like, how do I want to show up? Like, how do I want to experience myself in that dynamic? And what do I have to do? Who's the person that I have to become to be that? What does that look like? Because that's what's going to last. And let's just keep it real. The times that we're in is asking and requiring a lot of us. I mean, it doesn't have to. We get to choose how we want to play in this time. Like I said before, you can either be the leader and the active participant of like, yo, this is what I want to see. And for me, really hits home. Yes, it's for me because I want to live my life. Like freedom is really high. I want to do what I want to do, So meaning I want to live my life. I want to travel. I want to not have to wear a mask. I want to express myself. I want all of these things. Hey, what's up, Kathy? But above and beyond that, like I have 3 children. So I recognize that they're learning from me by who I'm being and who I'm choosing to be so much more than anything I could tell them, So, but what do I want to leave for them when I'm gone? I want to make sure that they can eat. And this isn't looking at them as weak. It's not like, and I want to like, your children, if you have kids, and or just look at yourself, you chose to be alive during this time for whatever reason. I love you too, Kathy. Your children chose to be alive during this time. If you chose to be alive during this time in our evolution and involution, you are a badass rock star. We all are. It's simply a choice. It's a choice to rise up to meet the challenge or not. But that invitation is always there. That invitation of initiation is right there, right now. And that's the hero's journey, stepping onto the hero's journey, and stepping onto the path of your unique, mythic experience. And this is why I'm so passionate about working with the cycles of initiation, the planetary cycles of initiation, because that's essentially what they are. And, I've shared this with you guys before, and I'll share it again, that only 4% of people, this is research that has been done, and not just because it's research. I'm not just saying this because, we know how it is. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of, well, this is research. But from my experience of witnessing other people, I have found this, yes, to be true. And I have seen this where, I have not done this myself. So only 4% of people, after engaging with information, whether that's listening to a live stream, listening to a podcast, reading a report, even working with a mentor, only 4% of people actually create lasting change in their life. Only 4%. And that's why they say if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And if it was just about hard work, that everybody would be a millionaire. Because it's not about either of those two. It's about that middle, really coming into the path of the heart. So, and for me, what I have found to be, as I align, like we have these amazing planetary initiations, that it's the perfect time. So, in order to change your reality, you have to change your personality. So, meaning, like, if you want to have a successful business, then who are you as a successful business owner? If you want to be an amazing lover, if you want to be an amazing partner, who do you have to become to be that? If you want to be an amazing mother or an amazing father, who do you have to become, right? So that's your reality. You have to change your identity, essentially, to know, I am that. I am that, right? So these facets of the personality are your mind and how you think, your perception, right? Your filter through which you look at the world, your values and your relationships, and how you take action and what motivates you. Those three things is what make up your personal reality. Those three things are those inner planet, those personal planets, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And so whenever these planets are going through their own alchemical rite of passage, which is their retrograde cycle, which is where we have an amazing opportunity to go through a portal where it's the exact right time where we're going to get, if you want to get the most bang for your buck, and this is why I say there's nothing wrong with that. It's about, yes, it's when you are in tune. So here's the thing, is it's like, sometimes the hardest part of the journey, right, is just saying yes. Just doing the scary thing. And then once you get over the fear, right, it's like cosmic forces are literally at your back. It's the willingness. It's the courage. It's the devotion. It's the It's the not settling. It's the tapping into what you love so much that you're willing to do whatever it takes. Not that you have to burn everything down, not that you have to do things that are against your integrity, but it's the willingness to. And so that's what these cycles of initiation are, these planetary. It's like the cave. That's why that beautiful quote from Campbell, Joseph Campbell, is the cave you fear to enter does hold the treasure that you seek. You know, and so that's usually the hardest part, right? And so once we say yes, and so this is what we're going through right now. Actually, the Mercury, the alchemical beginning of the Mercury synodic alchemical cycle, it begins tomorrow. It is known as the Nigredo. So this is something that I have been playing with. I've learned so much from Gemini Brett, who is tuning in here today. I've learned so much about the Mercury retrograde cycle from you. And so I just want to thank you so much, for tuning in here today and for being that person for me. You've been just such a guide in that way. And so, this is available to all of us right now, where we have this opportunity to go through a cycle of initiation where we start changing how we want to do, because this is Mercury and it's going to be reactivating the Great Conjunction, which is the next 246-year cycle of socio-economic change. So what is Mercury? I'm just going to go over Mercury. I could talk about this forever, but remember I said I'm going to keep this short and then I'm going to get off. And if you guys have questions about any of this, just reach out to me. And or go and follow Gemini Brett. He is amazing. Gemini Brett has got you blow my mind, brother. Like, as far as when it comes to the sky gazing and the math and sometimes you post stuff and I'm just like, what? And I know that, that's your genius, so definitely go and check him out. So, so coming back to what I'm saying is, so Mercury is the rainbow bridge, in the body. It corresponds to the throat chakra. So, as we're in this gap, right? I've been talking about this gap this whole time. Anytime you're in a gap, life and death happens in the gap. And the only deity that can go to the underworld where people go to die, right? And come back without dying, without, with being unscathed, that whole deal, is Mercury. So this is who you want to work with. You want to tap into that voice within you. You want to tap into those qualities in your body, in your business, in how you think and how you operate and how you speak or you don't speak, all of these different things, because this is what is going to allow you to facilitate the most efficient and speedy travel, adaptive, all of these are key words of Mercury, being able to adapt in what are, challenging situations. This is all what Mercury is about. So weaving Mercury into this as a business owner, or even, if you want to see something different in the world, meaning, in culture. So this is one of the things that, yes, I'm a business owner, but what I'm also very passionate about is the culture that we're living in. All of these things that it's just the easy button. That's something that's been woven and programmed into our culture, is to want to look for the easy button. What if that wasn't a part of your story anymore? What if you just committed for the long game because you knew that your success was inevitable? And I think that's, part of the reason why, it's easy not to want to make the full commitment, whether it's in a marriage or in your business or, with your body, right? It's well, I'm just going to do a little bit and see how it works. I'm only going to do a little bit and see how it works because there's a part of me that is scared of failure. There's a part of me that, what if you just accepted failure as part of the deal and that failure wasn't this bad thing? What if failure was like the best way that you could like grow and become unshakable, was by having the ability to come back? Because here's last thing, I promise this is the last thing. My clients always make fun of me because I'll be on like their messenger or something, like I do like a messenger service with them, and I'll be like, just one more thing, just like one more thing. So last thing, oh shoot, like, and what was it the last thing? Let me tune in. Yeah, because it's easy to be confident. It's easy to be all in your power when things are going great. When you're winning, it's easy. It's easy to show up when things are going great. It's easy to show up when you're feeling good. It's easy to, when you have the evidence. But who are you when it doesn't look like it's working? Doesn't look like it's working because you're looking out there instead of connecting to your inner voice, into your inner knowing, into your inner guidance, into your vision. Who are you choosing to be when, another area of your life that you thought was solid and you thought was dependable is now uncertain? Who do you choose to be then? Because that is what is required right now. We are in this massive time of uncertainty. And so if you are not strengthening that muscle, you're not strengthening that inner core faith. Every time there's a thing on the news about, there's another wave of so-and-so, or there's another, and here's the thing, it's like, you don't want to become like anesthetized to it, right? It's like, we're here to be in the world, but not of it. So it's like, be aware of this. Be aware that this is what's happening in the collective, that there's other people that are being influenced by this. And we are all being influenced by it because we're a collective, unity, right? But it's important that we can separate ourselves at the same time and have our own solid, sovereignty and security, stability, so that we can be that lighthouse for somebody else when they're having a moment of challenge. Because we're all going to go through it. All the leaders in the world, they all go through it. I go through it. You go through it. Everybody goes through it. But it's who you're choosing to be in those moments that is what separates the 96% from the 4. It's one of the reasons. So, and once you really start to understand, the terrain that you're moving through, it's like if you're on the highway and you know that there's going to be a traffic jam 5 miles ahead and it's going to have you sitting in traffic for 5 hours, wouldn't you want to know about it? Wouldn't you want to be able to anticipate what's coming, to tap into that? Because we all can do it. We all have that ability if we choose to. And so this is why, astrology is a great tool to start to access that. But of course, we can always, all of that information, it's all here inside of you. And yeah, when you go on an adventure, right, you want to know, even though at some point in time, there's going to be nobody said anything about this. The map didn't say that's what was going to happen, right? But you also know, you're prepared. You want to dig your well before you're thirsty. So that's why I'm talking about, if you want to travel the mountain, right? And that's like part, so let's bring it back to also with the Venus retrograde cycle that we're in right now. This is Venus, the Venus star, also Gemini, you know, tune in, please let me know. I forget if it's the 6th or the 7th. I know it's like, for some reason I always like, and it's not on the same day. But anyway, the mandate, that initial, the divine mandate, you know, the Venus star that is happening in the sign of Capricorn, right? Venus is going to be going on her own hero's journey. So Venus has everything to do about your relationships and your values and what is heart and meaning for you, pleasure, romance, you know, social, you know, social themes, you know, how we dance, right, in the culture, that sort of deal, is, you know, she's starting, and I think that this is a really beautiful thing, how as we're rebuilding these foundations, we're laying the new laws and the rules for the new foundations, that Venus is being infused into the roots, right? So we're having love, you know, so as we're looking at all of these systems crumbling that have been founded upon corruption, control, manipulation, and greed, Venus, you know, is here. The goddess is here to weave in beauty, to weave in harmony into these new foundations. So that's why when you do these questions, that's, you know, and it's like, this is something that's not going to happen overnight. You have to be willing to play the long game. That's, Venus is like not about anything less than that. She wants to have relationships. She wants business partnerships that are business and pleasure, right? She wants to have, you know, those powerful, long-lasting commitments. So, you know, I'm sure we're going to start seeing that as well in, you know, in different offerings. So you can think about this as you're putting out offerings into the world, as you're considering, you know, what is the best thing for my people, you know, what is going to bring them the most success in alignment with what is being asked of us right now is, you know, how can I get creative? And so that's one of the things that I have done in my business is I've been looking at getting creative in how I'm structuring my offers, how I'm building my community, how I'm making things, you know, available, and also at the same time without catering to people's human lower selves of just wanting the easy button, of wanting the quick fix, because, you know, because it's what people want. It's a kind of tricky thing, right? Like, because in business, you want to be relevant. You want, you know, it's like being relevant to the marketplace, but at the same time, like not going out of integrity for what you want to build and the kind of way that you want to work and the people that you want to work with. So like for me, I want to work with leaders. I work with leaders. I work with a lot of mothers that are also leaders, you know, so they have similar values as me. So as you develop your message and your marketing, you know, are you speaking to them? So again, these are all of the things, you know, that we're going to be going into very deep inside of Unicorn Legacy. If this is speaking to you, if you have questions about that, reach out to me. I will be posting the links here in the comments. I also have a free group, the Mother Lovership, which you are welcome to join. I will be putting the link to that in here as well. My website is my name. I'll put my link to my website here, but it's stephaniecrystal.com. You can join my mailing list, join all of the things. You can find me on Instagram, whatever you guys want to do. And yeah, stay tuned for some amazing things happening in 2022. Brett, thank you so much for tuning in. I also want to give a shout out to another astrologer buddy of ours, Gary Caton, who always just brings all of the magic and has his own special flair of bringing his astro magic. And I have so much to just be thankful. I mean, I'm learning from you guys all the time. So just definitely want to give him a shout out as well. So, all right, I'm going to go. Mwah, bye.